What is up, guys? Today I'll be just discussing with you some quick tips, some safety reduction, and basically how to enjoy your trip the best when it comes to vaporizing or smoking or ingesting DMT with a serotonin inhibitor, a SSRI. Or no, you need an MAOI, which is a monooxidase inhibitor, something or other. Basically, guys, if you're about to smoke DMT or you're looking for DMT, um, I would recommend you do not do that. It is an illegal substance, and um, the criminal code states that you can be sentenced to prison or fined with possession of this substance. Um, as far as that goes, I don't condone the use of drugs or paraphernalia. Anyone looking for drugs should probably just look within themselves because you don't need drugs. And basically, this trip report is basically about dimethyltryptamine. This was my last time I ever smoked it. Basically, a friend gave me a distillate pen, which is basically a little vape stick, e-liquid with said chemical within it. Now, the substance that it was fused with was called CBD, which is basically in marijuana. So basically, the guy put CBD and DMT in this vape, and he said, "Let me, let me try it." Now, me being me, I didn't really think about how I could do it properly by means of making sure there's enough airflow in the vape stick itself. Because if you actually look on the distillate pens, there's little air filtration, little air holes at the bottom that you suck air through. And basically, when I was smoking it, I closed off the air filters all the way. I still got some smoke, and I still had a trip. I basically smoked the whole thing. The whole vape cart was gone by the end of the night. Basically, I took my first hit listening to Spangle, Around the World in the T-Days, and things like the Asterix LSD Spangle remix, and basically some other tunes that were played in the background that went well with it. And basically, when I had this trip, I basically all I can really remember was like losing all that breath in my lungs, and then looking down at the floor because I was laying on the couch and I was looking down at the floor, and then all of a sudden my vision zoomed in, or actually kind of zoomed out, and then I went inside my head kind of, and then basically I was pretty much forced to close my eyes, and then I became this really really small creature, the size of an ant basically. I was the size of an ant compared to a praying mantis, and basically I was laying there as this little piece of food, and I was reborn, and I was this little baby, and there's this giant crystalline praying mantis just hovering over me, looking like it was ready to eat me and stuff. And to this day, I still actually see the praying mantis sometimes. It'll just be flying around in my head and shit. Not every time or every day, but I did see that on one occasion when I was before I was about to sleep. Yeah, basically, I broke through and saw just I only saw the praying mantis, and basically this voice told me, it was your lungs are in critical condition. That's all it said. It was you are not healthy. Your lungs are in critical condition, and I could barely breathe and shit. And basically, when I came out of that, I was like, what the fuck? Dude, what kind of trip was that? I know my lungs are in bad condition, and I'm trying to quit smoking, but, that was a terrible trip. Come on, give me something more than that, I get the lesson. So what I did next was, basically, within the days, I was still coming out of the trip, I basically just kind of went back in and went in and out of consciousness, in and out of trips until the whole thing was gone. And The second time I smoked it was right after I came back out of the trip, and I basically saw all these, like, what I could refer to as like emerald patterns. These like emerald, it was like an emerald vision. Like things were like folding in on itself and shit. Like it was like a geometric, like fractal line, um, kaleidoscope, you can say, of like things folding in on itself and shit. And it was like a hallway of mirrors, kind of, and it was like very like exotic feeling, like, and it felt like I broke through time, and like the time was infinite, and that I had been in hyperspace for infinity. Um, yeah, and then basically just kept seeing crystalline things, and I went to this distant land that was like the world of the jungle. Like it was like weird, and it was all made of energy and shit. And then I kept coming in and out of consciousness, and then I was like smoking it standing up in my room. This was after the fact. I came out of the second trip. I came out of the second trip and realized that like I hadn't smoked it properly as much as I wanted it to, like, because the airflow was blocked and it kept shooting up into my lungs, and my lips got all burnt with it and shit. And ever since then, like, it's kind of been still stuck in my lungs and shit. I feel it always in my lungs. I always like have a burping sensation here and there to try to like. I feel like my body's trying to get it out, but it can't. And literally, sometimes I'll just breathe out air and I'll like taste DMT. It's pretty crazy, like, to know that DMT is like always in your body. Um, and yeah, guys, like basically my pointer is that you should, like, if you're smoking it in a vape cart, you should always make sure the airflow is going through right, because you don't want that shit spitting into your lungs like I had happen to me. Um, yeah, guys, I would definitely look into dimethyltryptamine and its effects on the body. I would not recommend going out to try it or trying to get any of it, because the things, we don't know enough about it yet. So, um, as far as that goes, guys, this was kind of a brief update and psychedelic review video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.